Good morning, beautiful people. It's Lavelle Wilson here with our first episode of How the World of Theater Arts and Acting Made Me a Better MC. Today's topic is what is an audition? An audition is an interview to be hired as an actor, actress, model, musician, dancer, or performer. Now, 95% of the time, they are going to want to see your suitability, that you're actually suitable for that skill. So they are going to want to see an example of what you do. Now, in the world of acting, and the audition is typically 1 to 3 minutes of a prepared monologue or scene. Now, for example, Romeo and Juliet. If you are looking to be cast in the role of Romeo, or let's say, for example, his one of his best friends, Mercutio, one of his boys, it would be good for you to know a lot about that character, so that when you do go in for that audition, when you get to the interview process, if they ask you a question about that particular character, you know what's going on. They may even ask you, how does that character walk, or so forth. So your preparation there is vital. Be definitely prepare as far as the directions. If those directions say they want you to wear a red shirt, they want you to wear a black suit, it's very important that you pay attention to the directions that are being stressed in that audition. Also, just going to give you a little bit of a difference of solo audition versus a cattle call audition. In that solo audition, it's like I said, you pretty much go into that room, and you have your preparation there and you do your thing. Now, when it comes to the cattle call audition, you're primarily going to go in with anywhere from 2 to upwards of 10 people at a time in that audition. And those are typically going to be your auditions where it's a bigger production. So that way you're able to get through the audition that much quicker. So your focus and your preparation really has to be spot on. Also, too, I wanted to speak with you about the pros and cons of the audition. Now, pros of the audition. I mean, it's a fun thing, just getting up there, being in front of a lot of different casting directors and producers. It gets you an opportunity to be out there. So audition, audition, audition. Some of the cons of an audition is 90% of the time, they know exactly who they're looking for, looks, and the whole nine. So that is one thing that we have against us as actors and actresses. But you have to go out there and make them pay attention to you. So that is where you stand out from the next man or woman. And then just some audition etiquette. A lot of directors and casting assistants and so forth will really appreciate this. The fact that of you being more prepared than the next person. Not coming to an audition having 1,000 questions when you're out there in the waiting room, and you have a casting director or a casting assistant that's going back and forth, and they're busy trying to get things going so that you have a smooth transition. They don't have time to answer your questions. So while you're going, oh, well, oh, can I have a question? It doesn't work that way, and they a lot of times won't have time to answer your questions. So don't be offended if they pass you by and it takes you a chance to actually stop them and ask a question. Don't be offended by any means. Another thing is, for audition etiquette, really, no one is there to be your friend who's waiting to go in. So when you're there and you want to talk to the next person, you want to ask them how their day was and so forth, don't be upset if that person kind of cuts you off or doesn't really have time to talk to you, because no one is there to be your friend. They're there to get a job. They're there to get paid, just like you should be trying to get paid. And if you are beginning, and this is a beginning production thing for you, trust me, all the actors and actresses are there to be serious. They're there to work on their craft. They're there to get better. So if you're there to play around with it, this may not be the thing for you. But if you are there to be serious, if you are there for growth, if you are there for the maturity, trust me, someone will see what you're doing from the smallest role all the way to the biggest role. Another thing when it comes to your big roles, they have the thing that's called the understudy. Understudy is basically there for attitude. If you are one who does not follow directions, you're one who's a prima donna, you're one who thinks that you're all of that. That's what an understudy is for. Also, too, there's also an understudy if, for example, that main character happens to be sick, you lost your voice. That is another reason for understudy. So don't be offended if you get a big role and right underneath your name there it says understudy and it's another person there. That is definitely just there, just in case you think that you can't be touched. And so those are all the ins and outs of what is an audition and what an audition consists of. I hope that this is definitely something that was able to help you when you want to know about an audition. What are some of the questions that you may have that consist of an audition and so forth. I hope this helped you out. Thanks again. We'll be back.